I have been linked this thread, however, in the WoW forum. And there's comments in it that I wanted to look into because apparently I'm being informed that not everyone that plays WoW is that hyped about housing. Which is surprising to me because I think it's extremely hype. You know, my take on this. But I like to hear other people's perspectives. I'm going to be more interesting the minute they actually show that it's a house where you can physically place 3D objects where you want rather than just being specific place-based like Garrisons. Well, they did say that there would be a 3D tool set that you could use, but I think it's fair to be skeptical until you see like actual footage of them moving stuff around in the house. I keep my expectations low. Blizzard, also fair. I mean, Blizzard is currently in the process of earning trust back. That's what they're doing right now. And that might take longer for some people than other people. In my case, they won me back in Dragonflight pretty much, and the War Within just kind of solidified it. But I understand that some people are still, you know, they've been burnt, and they need the proof. You know, right now it's just promises in air, and I don't blame people for not trusting yet. I don't know. I never really got into the hype for housing. I mostly play alone, and I can't see the few people I occasionally do stuff with to sit around in my house and what? RP? Haven't read into details what Blizzard planned, but I expect that I'm either nudged to interact with the system and probably dislike it, or it's some cosmetic RP thing, and I won't interact with it much. Like, don't get me wrong, I genuinely think it's super cool for people that enjoy role-playing and expressing themselves, but that's with that stuff. But for me, it'll likely end up as an instance with a collectible dump nobody else is going to see but me. Maybe it ends up cool, but I'm sort of meh about it. Well, obviously, this is probably not going to be a system that everyone is going to be really into, right? I mean, if you don't care about housing, then they're not going to be able to get you to care about it probably. But I do think that it's probably going to be more to it than just sit around and RP. Based on what they said about neighborhoods and progression and like working towards goals together. And it sounded to me like they are going to gamify this a bit so that there's more to do, like actually do with your house and your community, your neighborhood community, than just stare at each other and like look at pretty couches and stuff. At least I hope so. Might be surprised with its launch. This is honestly not a bad attitude to have. As a person who is very hyped, and I am an easily excitable person, let's be honest, I think that having the attitude of maybe I'll be surprised is not bad. It's better to have that attitude than... It's probably better to do that than what I do. Which is like, I'm already stoked, okay? And if it's bad, I'm gonna be so disappointed. This person might have a better time if it's... I can't do it. I'm not, that's not my personality. That's not how I am. But good for you. Does not appear to interest me, but I'd love to be surprised. You know, this is a balanced take. Garrison was good for utility. I guess that's also a point, like, for WoW players, a lot of them that never played FF14, the last time they had a housing type system was Garrisons, and that was pretty terrible. So I'm really not surprised that with that being your previous experience, that you might not be like jumping for joy at housing. If you've never had fun with player housing before in a game, It might be a little bit of a hard sell coming off of Garrisons. That was just so terrible. Player housing will be decorating and hanging out by yourself. The Garrison was good for the utility. That was concentrated in a small area which you could control. But it was also bad for the utility. You know, it's because the Garrison was too useful that it was shit. Because it's not that there wasn't anything to do. That wasn't the problem. The problem was everything you could do at the Garrison. You didn't have to leave it. Professions at your Garrison. Auction house at your Garrison. Follower missions to get like raid gear at your fucking Garrison. Like, you don't need to leave it. So it ended up being really isolating for that reason. So a less useful house might not be a bad thing. I don't want it to be too useful because that's going to lead us to a Garrison scenario. So they have kind of a difficult balance to strike, right? You want there to be enough to do that it's interesting, but not so much to do that people feel like they gotta do it and gotta be there. Yeah. Twice shy situation. Would be bad if they commit an entire expansion feature to something majority don't care about. I don't know if the majority. I think that what I'm reading so far is people who are ready to be pleasantly surprised. And people like me who are stoked. Stoked. So excited. I can't wait to collect shit. Yeah, so I don't see people that are, like, hating. Not remotely interested. Okay, never mind. The reason I'm currently playing WoW rather than Animal Crossing. Oh, shit. I spoke too soon. Happy for others, though. War Within catered for me with its solo content. So now it's time for the other players to win their personal lotteries. Oh, okay. So you're telling me that an MMO that caters to many different types of players' tastes can make more people happy even when those people are really different? That's amazing. That's great. And this is actually a pretty mature take overall. Wow, I'm surprised. Yeah, imagine being happy for other people getting something when you got stuff that you liked in the same expansion. Yeah. Gonna resub on WoW on the weekend. Haven't played since Dragonflight, but one thing I already have to criticize are the price politics with new add-ons. They had charged €10 cheaper before War Within came out, and as I heard, they want to cut shorter the add-ons lifetimes, which will cause a Destiny 2 situation. Well, they do want to have faster expansion releases, that's true. But if you get really good at making gold, you can convert gold into BattleNet balance and pay for your subscription that way. Which is that is an avenue you could pursue. I've joined some WoW economy subreddits and like gold making discords, and there is a ton of people that pay for their sub and pay for like Brutosaur, pay for cash shop shit with gold. So I feel like it doesn't excuse you know, exploitative business practices. But at least there is a way to play the game for free. Yeah. There is a way. But it does take a little effort to find your niche, so... It's not really like a... Yeah, it ain't much, but it's honest. I play WoW for M+. This is not for me, really. I really hope the system is well implemented, for all of you hyped about it. I hope this makes majority of players genuinely happy. And brings more people to enjoy WoW. What the? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Is the community okay? Having a happy and growing community helps everyone, no matter what content we lead towards in the game. Where's the... I thought this community was really toxic. I was expecting the comments to be like, I play WoW for M+. This is not for me. It's some bullshit Animal Crossing content that I don't want, and they're taking development time away from the shit that I want because this isn't WoW. WoW is it for playing dress up and playing house. What the has happened? Never expected to read this. WoW subreddit. Wow, insane. Insanely mature. Maybe it's just WoW players are getting older, and after you get a certain age, you become a little bit less you become more mature. Maybe they're just old. Everyone's sweet old people. Old. Okay, Grandpa. Yeah, I don't know. Basically, FXTV and WoW social media swap sides because you pop into FC related Reddit and it's like middle of Shadowlands levels of shit throwing. Here's a phenomenon that I've noticed. I've noticed it in WoW and I've noticed it in FXTV, and I started to think that it actually has more to do with the game, the state of the game, and not so much about the general community. What I've noticed is that when people, and I said this in the Shadowbringers era, when we had Shadowlands people coming, players who are happy with their game tend to be less toxic because they're less frustrated. If people are generally happy with the state of things in their game, they're gonna be more cool. And just like, they don't feel all this bitterness and anger that is going to spew out towards other people. And I mean, WoW has had bad expansions where people were pretty nasty. And yeah, good game just means you're more likely to have more happy players.